and they really fucking matter. There's like 4 things that matter, and they really fucking matter. I mean, objectively, I mean, you should care, especially you, if you thought about it for 5 fucking minutes.
Welcome to episode 44 of the Outer Voices podcast. We are your hosts, Keem and Esme.
Hooray!
So let's start off by saying that this episode is going to be our nondescript holiday episode because there are many holidays right now happening.
Generic midwinter holiday.
Time periods, and we're not going to pick just one. So
you mean we're not going to pick on just one?
Yeah, pick on just one. Because honestly, I'm in Grinch mode right now. So
what? You? Grinch? Yep. No.
See, I go back and forth between really liking the holidays to just absolutely having pure disdain for the human race.
It's that seasonal depression, I think.
Yeah. But see, is it seasonal depression if you have it all year round?
I mean, no, but you only get to call it seasonal depression around the holidays. That's what makes the holidays so special.
Right. That's the spirit of the holidays.
Yes.
Seasonal depression.
Yes.
Oh God. But yeah. So actually, I think Hanukkah's going on right now. So shout out to my Jewish friends.
Hanukkah should be getting pretty close to wrapping up, I think. Isn't it?
Yeah, I think it started on the 12th. I don't know. I'm not Jewish, but if it's still going on, happy Hanukkah to all our Jewish listeners. There's probably 2 of you out there. Exactly. I think I know 2. So happy Hanukkah and whatever holidays are up. I think Festivus is close to.
Yeah, probably. You know, for all those who celebrate pop culture holidays.
Right. We could have done an airing of grievances, but I feel like that would take an entire episode. It may take 2 episodes.
I feel like that's just an episode.
Yeah, true. Because the show is nothing but grievances.
Yes. We don't have to wait for a holiday
very true.
to air our grievances. We just air them all over the place.
With that being said, will be our holiday episode, and we probably won't have any other episodes for at least 2 weeks, possibly. There's just there's too much stuff going on, especially with the holidays running around.
Yeah.
Our recording time, and also some of us will be traveling. Both of us will be traveling in different parts of the holiday. So, like I said, we'll be gone for at least 2 weeks. So get your fill now. Bask in our awesome glory. Guys, I apologize.
I like that you're still kind of full of yourself, even though you got the depression thing going on right now. You're such a Leo. I love it.
Yeah. Look, when the world is shitty, we can all look to the sky and see me not being shitty.
It's nice to know that.
No, I'm pretty shitty too, but I'm a good. Yeah, but see, I'm kind of shitty too. I'm the good kind of shitty.
Yes.
Like everything else is. I think I've used this analogy before. Everything else is just like wet, runny diarrhea, and I'm like a nice, solid, polished turd.
I don't like that metaphor.
Yeah, it's a terrible metaphor.
It's
but it came from me, which means it's great. Anyway, enough of me bullshitting, because this is going to be a lot of episode of me bullshitting. So,
as opposed to all the other episodes.
I try to be serious sometimes.
You try sometimes.
I try. Today is in fuck it mode.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's what everybody's getting for my the Outer Voices Christmas gift to the world. I'm giving you a box, no fucks. Anyway, let's move on to
Merry
our
Christmas, everyone.
God bless us, everyone.
Thanks,
And
Tiny
then I
Tim.
kicked Tiny Tim's sticker from under him. And he tips over.
I feel like you'll be gratified to know, Keem, that even as we are talking right now, I am working on your Christmas present.
Oh, your Christmas present has already arrived and been wrapped, not by me, but by Santa's little helpers. Sorry.
Aww.
So yeah.
So it'll be good. It'll be good and like wrinkly and lopsided then.
Probably.
Yeah, that's fine.
Knowing my little black elves, which also I'm going to get onto in the topic segment, the black elves, but we'll get to that later.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, but let's move into the news segment. You want to go first, since I know my news is more.
Yeah, yours is topical.
centric.
Mine is not topical. So, for those of you who are paying attention, which should be everybody, the CDC just put out a statement about the new guidelines that they have received in writing their annual documents, the guidance that they have received from the White House, in which they are not allowed to use 7 words or phrases in any of their writing for this. And let me see if I can remember all of them. The CDC, right, guys? So it's the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, right? You know, the ones who, one of their main functions is to study and control outbreaks of disease among populations, right?
It's kind of like it's right there in the name.
Yeah, Center for Disease Control, right? The Center for Disease Control, which has been instrumental in the fight to understand and control the spread of HIV in the United States, among other things, right? The CDC is no longer allowed to use the word vulnerable in any of their documentation, which, I mean, so, like, I don't know if you know, but one of the number one ways that phrases that people use to talk about populations that are at risk for things is vulnerable populations. They are no longer allowed to use the word fetus. They are no longer allowed to use diversity. They are no longer allowed to use the word transgender, which one of the main function, like one of the big functions that the CDC had under the Obama administration was specifically to study how HIV is still proliferating at higher than normal rates among transgender people. They're no longer allowed to use science-based or evidence-based as terms in their reports. And those ones came along with some other ridiculous bullshit guidelines about what they should say instead, which is something along the lines of like the CDC bases its, I forget exactly what it is, like bases its observations on science in accordance with community standards.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It said that.
They're fucking scientists. Their things they find are science and fact based. Not if the science goes against the community doesn't get to decide how science works out. If the community decides how science works out, that's pseudoscience. You fucks.
Yes.
Whoa. Sorry.
No, that's exactly what my reaction was too. Is that seriously the first time that you're hearing that one?
No, I didn't hear the full explanation.
Yeah, no, that's what it says. They got guidance, what they're supposed to say instead of science-based, and it specifically references community standards. But yeah, so like this is some bullshit. This is some bullshit. One person that I'm Facebook friends with rightly pointed out, rightly put it, and I'm totally stealing it from them because they put it really well, which is if you now I can't remember exactly what they said. which is that if you want to avoid having to spend money to help a population, make it so that that population doesn't exist, which is what they're doing with transgender people explicitly doing with transgender people in this reporting.
Here's the thing: they're doing it. They're doing it with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and this is not even just the CDC. If you look at the moves that have happened in the past couple weeks, the tax plan, the net neutrality were being repealed, and with the CDC, they are systematically wiping out a lot of communities. Like, these things aren't just random things. They're targeted attacks on marginalized communities.
Yep.
These things affect these communities negatively. The tax plan is cutting taxes on the rich and putting more taxes, of course, on the middle class and poor.
Yep.
The removing of net neutrality is more than just you have to pay more for the internet. It makes sure that poor and marginalized communities will be unable to access the internet. And the internet is our main point for getting information and communication. Access to the internet, you can't do anything now today. That affects schools, libraries, everything.
Yep.
You can't even apply for a job without the internet. And if you can't afford it, you can't use it.
Yep.
And the stuff for the CDC, the banning of those words means that you can't talk about how diseases are being spread in certain communities.
Yep.
And even more than removing diversity removes talking about any marginalized group. These are targeted attacks. Pure and plain and simple. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple. And if anybody has ever studied anything in world history, some of the first things dictatorial regime does when coming into power is removing words and information. Books, outlawing words, banning words. One of the first things you do in creating a totalitarian regime is to remove information, remove words, remove books. And in this past weeks, you have seen examples of something banning words from an government organization.
Yeah.
And you've seen the removal of access to the major avenue of information. If the American public isn't afraid, isn't scared, and isn't ready to fight back now, what's it going to take for you people to realize what's happening? For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
It can't get more blatant. It cannot get more blatant. And just, it's flu season. It's the dead of winter. Flu season has begun. And now you have a CDC which is basically under the control of a regime. I'm not even calling it administration, a regime that doesn't want to even appear that it's science-based. An organization of scientists can't be science-based. In the middle of flu season. I like to point out that the Spanish flu. When the Spanish flu hit, wiped out millions. All right, it's middle flu season. the CDC has these guidelines. Our main protection for what diseases may be coming our way, what new influenzas may be coming our way, is under the control of people who don't give a shit, want to see people die, who want to eliminate people.
But in any case,
Yeah. You take over.
no, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say let's transition into your news segment.
Oh yeah. Well, my news segment. Speaking of the Orange Grinch who stole, America at this point. So news out of Nazareth. The town where Jesus was born. That Jesus lived,
Yeah.
allegedly, if the guy existed. But whatever. So Nazareth, in opposition for Donald Trump naming Jerusalem the capital of Israel, which basically in a single swipe has greatly destabilized an already unstable region. Nazareth has symbolically canceled the celebration of Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Donald Trump got Christmas canceled in Jesus' hometown. I didn't make this up. I can't make this up. That's insanity. When Jesus' hometown goes, you know what? Fuck it. We're not doing Christmas. Because of this asshole, we're living in a horror comedy at this point.
Yeah.
And it's so hilarious to me how when soon as Christmas season hit, he was like, we say Merry Christmas in this White House. And we are putting the Christ back in Christmas.
Did he say those things? That's some bullshit.
Oh yeah, he said those things.
That's some bullshit.
To appease these religious right assholes. And
well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
That's how he got elected, and that's how he stays in
right.
With that. That's how he still has the power that he has.
And he pulls this, and I don't know if you followed any of you guys have followed this big Jerusalem capital of Israel move he just did. This whatever, but he did that, and I can tell you the exact reason he did it. He did that because the extreme religious right, they literally believe that Jerusalem being the capital of Israel will start the end times. The end times in which all non-believers and all non-Christians will suffer trials and tribulations, the most horrible tortures ever conceived by the psychotic blood god that they worship. Oh, and I'm going there today.
You're all salty today.
Yeah. But the most horrible punishment is conceived and cast into the lake of fire with the great serpent. That's Satan, who is a deceiver of all men. And Christians get taken up into heaven, the New Jerusalem. This is what they want. So this man to buy their loyalty and support even further, so they can view him as not only just their president who's going to put the Christ in Christmas and win the war on Christmas against those dirty heathens and Jews and Muslims who hate Christmas.
And pagans. Don't forget the pagans.
Oh, yes, the pagans. But
right, heathens, very specific kind of pagan.
Right.
Fun fact.
But he's going to win this war and put Christ back in America and make it great again. And he's also the great realizer of biblical prophecy. He's going to set us to the end times where Jesus is going to come back. Hallelujah.
Jesus.
And Nazareth has said, you know what? Fuck this guy.
Yep.
And canceled Christmas. This is the guy. This is what you guys voted for. This is what you wanted, right? Also, guys, don't fuck. Like, I'm sorry, don't fuck with the religious right. If you know somebody that reads the Left Behind books and thinks those are real and think this is about to happen, run, get away from those people. Just get away. Okay, this is the Christmas season ahead of you. You got family members. If you have family members that get to come at the table talk about how Donald Trump is fulfilling biblical prophecy, you fuck them, you leave. Cut that shit off. Because you are dealing with some crazy motherfuckers who literally want you to suffer and die while they get pulled up into paradise. That's psychotic. All right? It is.
Yeah.
This is my message for you people these holidays. You're crazy. And not in the you need to go get like actual help kind of way, because there are people who need that and need some medication and whatever. I'm one of those people. I need some medication. But they're in a whole different category. All right? And Esme, I know I'm not being politically not politically correct, but using words correctly, but I'm on a rant, so I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I got you. I'm ahead of you. I'm ahead of the game. But but no, like if our listeners doesn't think that it's just mind-boggling what is happening right now at the jolliest of seasons, where people celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, who they believe is their Lord and Savior, which I have no problem with people who believe that, Christians, whatever. Yeah. Hey, you celebrate your reason for the season. Look, hey, I used to do it. Man, I will sing some Christmas carols all day. Silent Night, Temptation by Silent Night, steal my shit all day long. But remember that what Trump is doing and the whole Nazareth canceling Christmas should be a sign to you that this is not what should be happening. This is not, as somebody who was very much a Christian, who's read the Bible through and through, this is not what you want. This is not the kind of thing that should be happening. Yeah. The city of Nazareth realizes it. So many around the world realizes it. So many people of different religions and walks of life, including Christianity, realize it. If you haven't realized it yet, you need to start realizing it. And realize that this man is a danger to everyone. And he can negatively, for Christians, what he's doing is not good for Christianity. It's not. So that's my news story today. It won't be a Merry Christmas in Nazareth. So thank you, Donald. I was gonna make a rhyme, but it would come out wrong, so I'm not gonna do it. I was gonna do this whole Grinch thing, but it wouldn't come out right. So anyway, with that, we're going to have a brief musical interlude and then move on to our topic segment, which our topic segment is not really a topic segment, but we're going to have fun with it.
I mean, it is though. Whatever.
It's not
Anyway.
specific, but let's get on. Let's get on
Anyway.
with this. Enjoy. And welcome back, everybody, to our topic segment today. And we're just going to be doing some talking. I don't know why I'm insane. I'm losing it.
It's the seasonal depression, man.
We're going to just do some talking about the holidays. You know, some of the things we like, some things we don't like, some issues that we see. Hopefully we'll have a little fun with it. But we'll see. Which brings me to my first thing I want to talk about. So, have you ever heard of Schwartz Pete?
No, what is that?
So, let's go into some Christmas lore. In a few countries, I think Germany is one of them. I know they do it up in like Amsterdam and stuff too, like the Netherlands and all that. Santa Claus, old Saint Nicholas, as we know in our tales, is accompanied by helpers, correct?
Mm-hmm.
These are our Christmas elves. No pointy ears, usually little white kids. Some of them like to be dentists. By the way, side note about Rudolph. Considering the other things in that thing about people with differences and stuff, I think Herbie might have been a little gay. I think he was the gay Christmas. And
maybe.
I think they use dentistry as the allegory. That's my theory.
Because dentists like putting hard things in people's mouths?
I did not say that.
I did.
But there you go.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
But yeah, so everybody knows Santa has elves. But the basis for the idea of elves, Santa's helpers, are the character of Schwartz Pete. And Schwartz Pete was a Moorish black,
Yep. For those of you playing along at home.
right, slave to Saint Nicholas. Schwartz Pete would come along. He would help Saint Nicholas deliver the toys. He would make the toys, and he would entertain the children. This was Schwartz Pete. These are your Christmas elves. Schwartz Pete, the legend of Schwartz Pete would grow until there are multiple of him, and until eventually it became, like I said, your Christmas elves. So, little known history lesson: your Christmas elves were black slaves. But yeah, brings a new spin on Elf on a Shelf. You know.
Yeah. Which, can we talk about how creepy Elf on a Shelf is?
Elf on a Shelf is really fucking creepy.
It's super fucking creepy.
Also, that's some shit that white people come up with.
Yup.
Like, okay, I'm in one of those moods, so I'm gonna say nigga.
You're always in that mood. Let's be real.
And I'm about to be real country, too. Niggas ain't about to do that shit. We ain't about to put little happy dolls around our house doing crazy shit. We ain't got time for that. Also, and it's creepy. Like, if you wake up if a black person wakes up in the middle of the night and sees a creepy little elf just sitting in a random place that you know you didn't put it in, you're gonna get up and throw that motherfucker in the fire. And even if you didn't have a fire to throw it in, you're gonna set Elf on the Shelf on fire outside with your lighter.
Yep.
I'm always amused by the things white people come up with. Even the Schwartz Pete,
ridiculous stuff.
even Schwartz Pete, like, did you have to give Santa an army of black slaves? Really? Like, my God. You couldn't just let it pass without throwing slavery in there.
I mean, apparently not. 'Tis the season.
And Schwartz Pete, like, the little black elves, they come in and dance for the children like damn Sambos, and like, what the fuck? WB. Yeah. I don't know why I did the WB frog, but that's all I can think about when I see like the Sambo like dancing things. It's like the WB frog. Like, it's crazy. But so in some of these other countries where this originates, they still do the Schwartz Pete celebrations. Mm-hmm. Where citizens dress up in blackface.
Yeah.
And entertain each other. And the question came up a few years ago was, how racist is it?
It's pretty fucking racist.
It's pretty racist. It's got this racist history, this racist background. But the weird thing is, most of the people doing the celebration, they don't connect it to
That's
what's
not
happening.
Weird, because white people don't see shit like that.
Yeah, okay. But here's my thing. These are white people in a world where there are no other people. Like, there are only white people in these countries. You go to like the Netherlands as a black person and they think you're a damn bear or something, okay?
No. If you go to the Netherlands as a black person, they think you're a refugee.
That's also true. Yeah. Oh, that's also depressing.
Yeah.
Anyway, way to bring it back down. Gosh. We're supposed to be married. We're not supposed to be thinking about refugees. It's not like, it's not like there's a story about a refugee family having to sleep in a barn that produced a messianic child or anything. Oh,
Wait a second.
Shit. Anyway, come they told me, parumpa pump. Anyway, but yeah, these celebrations are, and like when black Americans learned about this, it's like it blew our minds. It's like there's a whole country of white people out there dressed up in blackface, and it's okay because they don't know any better. What the fuck? No. Like it's so fucking insane. I don't. Also, apparently, the story has something to, said something about Saint Nicholas going down to Spain, where the Moors were, and kidnapping this black child to become Schwartz Pete. Which also goes along with the story that another legend that all gets rubbed into this. So it depends on where you're coming from. It's either Santa Claus himself will kidnap bad children and force them to become Schwartz Pete or elves, or Krampus, who, if any people know lore or just pop culture in the past couple years, Krampus is like Dark Santa. He's a goat hoof demon thing that punishes bad children along with Santa Claus. But sometimes he will also kidnap bad children and take them either to hell, which seems like a bit of a rough punishment for just being disobedient children. Or he takes them to become slaves, which also seems like a bit of a reach for disobedient children. But I digress.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he would go. In the Schwartz Pete story, Santa went to and kidnapped a Moorish child from Spain. But in other stories, like Santa or Krampus will kidnap people to become elves or sheep. But it's crazy to me to see where our Christmas traditions come from, because you don't when you see happy little Christmas elves with the pointed ears and shit, you don't think black slaves. But that's where the shit comes from.
Yep.
It's something else, Christmas traditions are something else. Also, random side note, if you want to know a little something about Disney's racist history, because we've already discussed how they wear gloves because they're basically minstrel performers.
Yes.
Pete, Pete, the fat cat that's in all the Disney products. Pete's name in most other countries, non-English speaking countries, and his designation is Schwartz Pete. Pete is Black Pete. And some of the reasons they have used for Pete being devious and Pete being not liked by everyone else is that he's black. He's a black cat, but he's also black.
Yeah.
Very, very strange. Racism pops up everywhere,
Yep.
Even in the most childlike things, Do you have a thing before I go into my next one?
No.
I feel like this. Don't leave me out here hanging. I don't want to be talking about myself the whole time.
Sorry, I'll try to chip in a little bit more.
Yeah. Damn it. Speaking of black people, everybody gets a turn today. Who the? And let's go in. Let's start from the very beginning. Who
Let's
the
start at the
fuck
very
celebrates Kwanzaa?
beginning. Sorry.
Sorry. Who the fuck celebrates Kwanzaa? Crickets, everyone.
I thought about saying I do, but that would just be ridiculous.
If you did, that would remind me of like that episode of the Boondocks where the teacher is trying to get them to do the Kwanzaa salute or whatever. Like Kwanzaa is another one of those instances where, man, there was a good idea there. Like there was a good idea, but just immediately went shitty. Mm-hmm. So, if another little history lesson, if you don't know where Kwanzaa's from, Kwanzaa, despite its name, is not a traditional African holiday. As a matter of fact, Kwanzaa was started in 1966.
Yep.
By an American, Dr. Karenga.
That sounds right.
Now, it was started as a alternative to the Caucasian, as they quoted, holidays. You know, Christmas, Hanukkah. Also, it started pretty anti-Semitic. Kwanzaa was pretty anti-Semitic because it was like, oh, let's have something that's different from these Jew holidays, because the people that started it thought Christmas and Hanukkah, of course, but Christmas was a Jew holiday because Jesus was a Jew and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So this started to be an alternative for that. Now, Kwanzaa has it's supposed to be a holiday to promote unity and things that strengthen the black community, because it was started by Pan-Africans.
Yeah.
American Pan-Africans. It was not started by the Pan-African movement. It was started by American Pan-Africans, which I have problems with Pan-Africanism as it is, because Africa is not a united thing. There's never been a united thing. There's no such thing as Pan-Africanism, because they are not one people. They are not one culture. It is a continent with many different people, many different cultures, and trying to unite Africa under one homogenous thing and say this is Africa is erasing those cultures, those communities, and those histories.
Yeah.
So I have a huge problem with Pan-Africanism. But with that being said, it did push some positive ideas like unity. Umoja. I'm gonna throw some words out here. Umoja, which is unity. It promotes unity and in the family and the community. Kucha Chiguya. I'm butchering these words. Which is self-determination. Also great. You know, you want to be able to strive, push forward. Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Also great. Ujamaa, cooperative economics. This is that black people should be, having their own businesses, having their own economics. Which, side note, when holidays become capitalistic, that's always a sign that there's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
This starts out capitalistic. That's a problem. Naya, which is purpose. Creativity, Kumba. And Imani, faith. And this was less of a religious faith. more of a faith in your people, faith in your community, parents, teachers, basically a faith in each other.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the tenets of Kwanzaa. However, this is where Kwanzaa gets into some problems after this. First of all, I already discussed the anti-Semitism. And it's a response to American racism. But it's another one of those instances where the response can be just as, damaging.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing that I want to mention about Kwanzaa is we talk about cultural appropriation in this. Well, this was created and it was immediate cultural appropriation. This was an American black guy basing a religion that he wanted to spread to all African Americans based off East African traditions, more specifically Swahili traditions.
Yeah.
Esme, can you tell me what the problem with that is?
He's on the wrong side of the continent, for one.
Exactly.
Also, not only is he taking stuff from the wrong side of the continent, he is taking these cultural traditions and taking them so completely out of context that they lose any sort of any meaning that they would have had in their original culture.
Ding, ding, ding. You're 2 for 2.
I know. I'm good at this. Lol. Ha.
So he takes these traditions from the Swahili people. He takes these words, everything, and starts to tell people, this is what you should be celebrating. This is your people. This is your tradition, your custom. This is what you should be taking and benefiting from. That is cultural appropriation. All day, every day. That is not good. Also, seeing as most African Americans originate from West Africa, of course, with its own set of traditions from different cultures. You can be from Yoruba. You can be from the Yoruba. Could be from like what was Mali, Songhai. Multiple cultures and kingdoms, traditions. But he's taken these traditions from other people, the other side of the continent, and telling African Americans, these are your traditions. These are what you should celebrate. Don't celebrate the white man stuff. And I'm all for fuck the white man. Now I'm not saying like, man, I love my friends, judge everybody individually. But when I say the white man, y'all know what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about white people. I'm talking about the white man.
Yeah. I just saw a post on Facebook about this today, about how oppressed groups use in their language personify the system, right?
Yeah.
When you say the white man, you're not actually talking about white people. You're actually talking about the system of oppression that is created and sustained by white people.
Right. And see, that's what a lot of people don't. That's what a lot of people, especially white people, do not get, because they see when black people are talking about the white man and the white man this and the white man that, they're saying, "Oh, you're racist. You hate white people." That is not the case. It's not the case. When we say the white man, it's a personification of the system of oppression.
Yeah. Stop being willfully ignorant, white people. We suck.
Right. Stop making yourself the victim here. We don't hate you personally. This is not a personal attack on you. But the shit your great granddaddy built has been fucking us up. And we ain't happy about it, Uh, but yeah, so he takes these cultures from East Africa and says, "Hey, focus on these," and said, "African Americans, this is what you need to be focusing on." Now, for African Americans who were seeking their connection, that lost connection to the quote unquote motherland, they jumped on it.
Yeah.
But that further disconnects them from finding their actual origins. If they're looking on the other side of the continent, they will never be able to find those roots that they have been searching for.
Yeah.
Because you're looking in the wrong place. It's deception. It was deception for a reason, like it's like a kind of a good reason, trying to build, support and strength. But you built this on deception. You built it on lies. You built it on anti-Semitism. You can't build a holiday on this, guys. You can't. And that's probably enough. And so I've had somebody talk to other black people. The few Kwanzaa celebrators that I've seen, they get into this thing of you other black folk just don't celebrate Kwanzaa because you're too tied up in the white man's holiday. You're too tied up in Christmas. But that's not it. I mean, we are tied up in Christmas, but it's not tied up in Christmas because it's the white man's holiday. But Christmas in America is not Christmas. It's not the traditional Christmas. Christmas like we talked about Halloween back in our Halloween episode. Christmas in America was something put together, marketed.
Yeah.
People grasped different parts of the world, different parts of world tradition, different parts of world cultures, and smushed them together to create something that's very uniquely American. American Christmas is unlike anything else in the world. People celebrate Christmas in so many other different ways, but Christmas in America is something that is uniquely American. Mm-hmm. And black people in America, they're not just African, they're African American. Black people in America are people that are uniquely American.
Yes.
We're not the same as Africans. We have a connection to them because they are, at least some of them are, descendants of some of the same people that we were from.
Yes.
We have a connection, but we are distinctly American, and Christmas is distinctly American. Christmas is a part of Black American culture. And that's why Black Americans still celebrate Christmas and did not jump on the Kwanzaa bandwagon, really.
Yeah.
Because it's not something. It's not a part of them. It was never a part of them. You can't mash together some African words and say, this is a part of you. You need to follow it. You need to do this. Because it's not how it works. So that's my spiel on Kwanzaa. Like, really, fuck Kwanzaa. Like, you can pull some good stuff out of Kwanzaa. You can pull some great stuff out of Kwanzaa. Unity, self-determination, love it. But I can pull that same shit out of the Wiz.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, let's make a holiday off the Wiz.
Okay, let's do it.
Like, black folks, here's the start. We're gonna start a holiday based off the Wiz. It's uniquely American. It is black. It is got all the good things. It's like black self-determination. You got fighting an oppressive system. You have like being courageous and smart and intelligent and moving on down the road. I'm sorry, I don't want to start singing.
Aw, why not? I like it when you sing.
Because it's gonna start a different show. But fuck, like that's my look. If they can turn these are a few of my favorite things from the Sound of Music into a goddamn Christmas song, then we can make The Wiz into a new holiday.
Yep. That's right. I always forget that they did that.
Side note, why is that song a Christmas song?
Because it talks about snowflakes.
All right.
And sleigh bells.
Third thing for the show. Everything that mentions winter and says Christmas in it one time does not make it a Christmas thing.
No?
I'm gonna say something real controversial right now. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Die Hard can be a Christmas movie if you want it to be a Christmas movie. Because anything can be anything. You remember how we celebrate Easter?
But okay. Die Hard's not a Christmas movie. You know what is a Christmas movie though?
Huh.
Gremlins.
I'll buy that.
Gremlins is a Christmas movie. Everything about Gremlins is about Christmas. The movie, even the subtext behind the movie, is consumerism.
I'll buy that.
Like,
I say, having seen Gremlins once, I think, all the way through.
You should watch Gremlins again. As a matter of fact, you probably will watch Gremlins again very soon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Some would say in about a week. But the whole subtext behind Gremlins is like you have this like mom and pop shop, Chinese store, which is kind of racist. Honestly, stereotypical Chinese shop who is like selling these rare oddities, and then you have like the father who is trying to, sell his new product, his new invention, and you introduce this like innocent thing into this community, and then but when it starts getting all the decadence of society, like overfeeding, getting all the stuff, it becomes this monster that just wants to that just consume and causes chaos.
Yeah,
it's consumerism. But Gremlins is a Christmas movie. So, Esme, speaking of which, Christmas movies, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
That's a really good question. None?
How dare
Am I allowed to say none?
No, you're not allowed to say none. You better come on.
Okay, so there's this one. And this tells you something about how I grew up, which is that my parents would just like dub movies off a TV onto VCR tapes, onto VHS tapes. And
I did. We did that too.
Yeah. So there was one that my parents had dubbed when I was a very small child. Okay, maybe not that small. It's probably 92, probably. And as near as I can figure, it was a made-for-TV movie. Like, it doesn't have anybody good in it. It's not a thing. But because we had it on a VHS tape, we always watched it every year. It's called In the Nick of Time.
What was it? I think I've heard of that before.
Yeah. And so the summary of the story is that, so Santa is real, but Santa is not just one guy. It's a rotating cast, like it's rotating. It's a rotating position, right? Like there's every 500 years or something, there's one person in the world who is destined to be Santa, to like take up the role of Santa.
That sounds like a Santa Claus.
Yeah. except it's better. But so it gets like it's Christmas and everybody at the North Pole is freaking out because OMG, somehow we missed the bookkeeping and didn't realize that this is the year that Santa is going to die and we need to find the new Santa in order for there to be a Santa for Christmas Eve. And so they go and it's Santa's job to find the new Santa, like to find the one person on Earth who is destined to be Santa. And so he goes to New York City.
Of course.
I think there was a prophecy or something, right, where he ended up in New York City. But he goes to New York City where he finds, like, this motley crew of characters. There's the lovable taxi driver with the young daughter who is, like, the daughter is, like, they have to save the rec center. It's a whole thing. Right? There's whole plots. It's very cheesy and very sweet. And in the end, they find the Santa, and it turns out to be the guy that you would least expect it to be. And it's amazing. And then not only, like, when they find the one who is destined to be Santa, then they have to convince him that, yeah, he's the one who's supposed to be Santa. It's a whole thing.
And it was Tim. And it was Tim Allen all along.
No, it was not Tim Allen.
It was Tim the Two-Man Taylor.
No.
Sorry.
But, so that's one of my favorites. I love it. It's very sweet. It's very sweet. There's another one that it was dubbed on the same VHS tape, and I used to really, really like it. I used to really, really like it until I grew up and realized that it's exceptionally racist and problematic. But that's okay. I don't even remember what it's called.
What was it?
I don't remember what it was called, but it was basically, so the premise is it was these pioneers, a man and a woman, and the woman is pregnant. They're out, and it's like during one of the wars with the Indians or whatever. And so they're living like on the edge of the frontier, and the soldiers keep coming in to be like, "Hey, you guys know you should move, right?" But the man has good relationships with the local tribes or whatever. But in any case, somehow they get caught in the middle of this war, and they get kidnapped by one of the hostile tribes. And the woman, like, has just given birth. She has a small baby. And then but this tribe, like, in retaliation for what the soldiers have been doing, are gonna, like, take them and, like, kill them or whatever. And then in order to save her and her husband and their baby, she tells the tribe the story of Christmas, but puts it in ways that they will, quote unquote, like, understand, right? Like instead of the angel Gabriel, like the great spirit sent an eagle or whatever. And it's fucking problematic. It's a whole thing. And then they get they are able to save this woman saves her family by convincing the Native Americans that, like, this story is real. And
my God.
It's a whole thing. It's really racist. Like, it was a cute story. It's a cute story if you don't pay attention to how racist it is.
It's so amazing. So many of those, like, classic quote unquote Christmas stories are just terribly problematic. Just like, even thinking of Rudolph. Rudolph is a story of the disabled. The disabled aren't valuable unless they're useful.
No. He wasn't disabled. He just had different physical characteristics.
I'm talking about the toys.
Oh, the toys? Yeah, that's right.
Oh, Chuck in a Box. What's his name? Chuck. I think it was Chuck in a Box.
Yeah.
I will say, so besides those, like, claymation sort of stop motion movies like Rudolph and A Year Without a Santa Claus, which Year Without a Santa Claus is great because of Snow Miser and Heat Miser.
That is true.
That's awesome. I have two favorite Christmas movies. One is Jingle All the Way.
Oh, yeah.
Jingle All the Way was Schwarzenegger's finest moment.
Shit. Are you sure? Have you ever seen Kindergarten Cop?
I have.
I fucking love that movie. It's
But
so terrible and amazing.
Kindergarten Cop doesn't have two things. Turbo Man
That is true.
and Sinbad.
That is true.
Like, if any of you haven't seen Jingle All the Way, go watch Jingle All the Way. It is it's got Phil Hartman in it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like this Schwarzenegger plays this overworked dad who can't spend time with his son, and Phil Hartman is like the perfect neighbor, and like Phil Hartman's he's kind of like Ned Flanders. And Phil Hartman's character is kind of moving it. It's like you get the feeling that he's trying to move in on Schwarzenegger's wife.
Yeah.
So all Schwarzenegger's son wants for Christmas is Turbo Man, and Turbo Man is like this character from this like Power Rangers type show, and it's the hottest toy for Christmas. And all he wants for Christmas is Turbo Man. So Schwarzenegger's like, I want to save my family, because it's the only way you can save your family is by pleasing your son.
No, is by appeasing your son by buying him
something, right? So he's like, I gotta go get Turbo Man. But of course it's sold out. Everybody's fighting for Turbo Man. He can't get it, and all these hijinks ensue. And his main rival in getting this Turbo Man toy is Sinbad, who is also a struggling father, who's a mailman. And of course, by American stereotypes, all mailmen are insane. And they spend the movie basically trying to kill each other to get this Turbo Man doll.
Yep.
And it gets to the point where, like, somehow, I forget how it ends up, they end up dressing up as the characters from Turbo Man in the parade. And he gets the boy, he gets his son, the doll, and the son goes, but he gives the toy to Sinbad. He's like, you give it to your son. And Schwarzenegger's like, the fuck? I spent this whole day trying to get this toy for you. Why don't you want it? He goes, I don't need the toy because my dad's really Turbo Man. It's like, And Sinbad goes to jail for 25 years because he commits all these crimes instead of because he gets arrested at the end, by the way. Yeah. His son does not get this toy because his dad got sent to prison because he committed a whole plethora of felonies to get this toy.
Jesus.
It's fucking great. It's the best Christmas movie ever.
Okay.
But
I'll buy that.
My second favorite movie is the opposite end of the spectrum. It's an animated movie called Annabelle's Wish.
Aww.
It's the sweetest movie in the world. And it's about this. It's every year around Christmas, Santa comes and gives the gift of speech to the animals, so they can talk and whatever.
Yeah. And
this little calf is born named Annabelle, and she befriends the little farm boy who owns the animals. But the farm boy, he's mute. He can't talk. So they build this whole relationship and goes through all this stuff, and like the little boy goes through all these troubles because he can't talk or whatever, and all this happens, and she gets a wish from Santa. Gets to get like a wish from Santa at the end, and her final wish is to give the little boy her voice. So he gets to speak, and from that Christmas song, he gets to speak. But every year when the other animals get to talk around Christmas, she doesn't. She never gets to talk again. And he sits there, like, for the rest of his life, he raises Annabelle from calf to a cow. And at the end, like, he's an adult with his wife and kids, telling them the story and of how he got his voice. And Annabelle's just like this old cow in the barn, like all the other animals have passed on, and she's just like there, like staying with the boy, now a man who is grown up, and she gave her voice to. And he's like, she's still his best friend. It's like the most heartwarming thing in the world. Like, Annabelle's Wish is great. If you have children, and you want them to watch something just like wholesome and like heartwarming and not really like it's not a consumerist tale. It's not something religious. It's just a straight up heartwarming cartoon. I fucking love it. I've been trying to get my sister to, because I can't find it anywhere. I've been trying to get her to find Annabelle's Wish, like on some streaming service or something, so I can watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super nice.
So, yeah, I have a heart somewhere. Look, I have a heart somewhere, but it's only somewhat as black as my soul. Let's see. Is there anything else we want to talk about before our nondescript holiday show? I would speak a little bit about Hanukkah, but I honestly don't know anything about Hanukkah. Any of my Jewish friends would like to teach me some things about Hanukkah, I'll tell you 3 things I know about Hanukkah. 1, latkes are the shit.
That is true.
Like, latkes are delicious. The second thing is I know there's candles and oil, something about oil for 8 days, and the Maccabees. I can't tell you much, but I know, like, oil, candles, 8 days, and Maccabees. Something.
That's better than a
put
lot
that
of people.
together. Hanukkah. The third thing I know is that Adam Sandler made a song about it.
Oh, that's right.
So if anybody wants to come educate me on Hanukkah, please do.
Somebody needs to educate Keem.
Somebody does.
Get you some education.
I'm all about education, man. Hey, man, I'm all about that education. I'm being Terrence Howard right now. About that education, man. That's my Terrence Howard impression, guys. But yeah. So I don't really have any. Do you have anything?
No. Sorry I didn't contribute too much to this episode.
No, it's fine. I will say, guys, on a very personal, get personal with you guys for a moment. Get vulnerable, if I may. Christmas is a very difficult time for me. Mm-hmm. The season of depression hits hard for a myriad of reasons. Mostly that my grandfather passed away on Christmas Eve. My older sister passed away on Christmas Day, and my mother passed away on the 28th. So different years now. But Christmas is always, the holiday season is always very difficult. We also grew up poor, very poor. So it was always said very, very difficult. So I kind of switch back and forth between trying to basically overcompensate for the things that have, like, my own experiences, to try to make Christmas as, like, happy and jolly as possible, and being depressed and cynical, which you're getting a little bit of cynical me today.
I feel like our listeners are well acquainted with cynical you.
Yeah, but it's probably a little more biting today.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I say, Christmas has a, like, very poignant history to me.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I do enjoy it, and I enjoy it for one major reason, and it's because this time of year, whether you're celebrating Christmas or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or whatever holidays around this time of year, they all have a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean spirit in a, like, supernatural way. I mean, like, a feeling.
Yeah.
And that feeling is coming together with the people you love and with the people you care about, and just being there, giving yourself to them. And there's a lot going on in the world right now. The world is a horrifying, scary, depressing, sad place. We are constantly bombarded with what seems like the end of everything.
Yeah.
Like, it has never been a time, at least in my life, that it, more so than now, that it feels like everything around me, not in my personal life, but the world around me is collapsing. And that can drag us down. Combined with the lack of sunshine that happens during this time of year and the weather, it can be very hard for people to make it. Suicide rates go up this time of year. People are dealing with a lot. And I think it's important to remember that this time of year, it's not a, hate to sound like the end of the Grinch, but it's not about papers, boxes, and bags. Not about gifts. It's not even about traditions. Honestly, if you want to be real, it's not even about the religious stuff. It's about coming together with the people you love to do whatever. And that's important. And for the people who are, like, suffering right now, who are feeling down, feeling down, depressed, and everything, know that there's someone in your corner. You are not alone.
Yeah.
And you don't have to, even if you feel alone, just hold on to the notion that people love you. And people are there beside you. And even when it all feels like it's coming apart, like it's all not worth it, that you are loved. That's the reason for the season. That's the reason for all of these holidays. Mm-hmm. This is what humanity is expressing through these holidays, no matter what culture or what religion or how you choose to create this holiday or celebrate it. They are about love. Peace on earth and goodwill to all men. So just hold on hang in there, and know you're loved. That's my message for Christmas, for the holidays. And the final thing is, for the people who are feeling like they can't go on, please, if you feel like you reached that point, go find help. I'm going to put the suicide hotline information in the links again, because this time of year is when it is most dire, when it is most needed.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start feeling like it, please call someone. Get in touch with someone. You can call. You could use a chat line. There are people that can help. There are people that love you. Please hang in there. Okay, I'm done. Oh, and sorry, with that, let's move into our sex segment. After some more music.
Yes. And welcome back, everyone, to the sex segment. In true fashion for me, I should have done this several weeks ago, but that's all right. I'm going to do it now, which is in the spirit of in the spirit of capitalist commercialized Christmas. I'm going to do, so it's not really a gift guide. It's not really a gift guide, but I am going to list, there's a few different toys that I have been really, really excited about this year. Some of them are new on the market, and some of them have been out for a little while, but they've started getting a lot of buzz recently. And so I'm really, really excited to see them become really well known. And to start to get a little bit more buzz. These are toys that I do not own. I cannot vouch for them, but I am extremely excited by them. And I really, really hope that I can pick them up at some point very soon. So I'm actually going to start with, some sad news. So, I have been eyeing a toy for a very, very, very long time. And I've been saving up for it for a very, very, very long time because it's a little expensive. It's like it was $250 or near to it. So I was saving up for it. And then the company that makes it went out of business. And so now it's no longer available, which is really, really tragic. So this was a company called Fucking Sculptures. And what they did was they did high, like art, like artisan almost. Artisan, that makes it sound really fancy. But hand-blown glass toys. And they had a handful of stuff that was just beautiful work. Incredible colors, incredible quality, and they are sadly no more, which is tragic. It makes me so sad, especially since there are so few companies that are out there right now that are doing really high quality glass work. There are a handful of, especially that are ethical companies that are doing high quality glass work. It's hard to find. Glass is harder to find than most other materials, except for probably stainless steel. But one of the things that has been on my radar that I wanted to talk about is a company called Standard Glass, which sounds really boring, but they have something that it's called different things at different places. Smitten Kitten has it listed as the S curve, which, I mean, it's shaped exactly like what it is, right? It's a fucking beautiful blown glass toy that's they do it in all different colorways. They've got swirls, and they've got a like colored core, and they've got rainbow, and they've got all sorts of fucking just beautiful designs. And they're all handmade, so they're all a little bit different sized, but it's an S curve dildo. So Keem, you know, like the pink one that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Right, which the pink one that I have is made by Icicles. I don't remember what the number is on it, but it's an S curve. It's got dots on one side and ribs on the other side. But this one is smooth all the way down, and it's longer. It's longer than that pink one that I have. It's quite a bit longer than that, actually. And it's smooth all the way, except on one end, it's got a tapered tip and a bump underneath the tapered tip. So it's like got like two bumps at the end, one of which has a tapered, like almost not a sharp point, but it like, you know, it tapers a little bit instead of being a rounded end. Freaking gorgeous. So amazingly beautiful. And I have been drooling over them forever and ever because some of my favorite bloggers who have never steered me wrong when it comes to toys have been saying, especially Kate Sloan, who blogs over at Girly Juice, and she is the co-host of the Dildorks, is saying that this is her favorite dildo that she received this year. And in fact, it is her favorite dildo of all time. And I'm like, that is incredible. And also, I want one. But yeah, so Standard Glass is making this just gorgeous toy, which is really, really nice to see since fucking Sculptures is now out of business and it's so hard to find high quality glass toys. But it is really really nice to see. Another new one that came out, or a new one. This one, the Standard Glass, has actually been around for a while, but it started picking up a lot of buzz this year. Especially I think since fucking Sculptures went out of business. Like a lot of bloggers I think were looking for, oh, well, what else is out there since we've been all about fucking Sculptures for so long and now they're not there. But so now this has been getting a lot of buzz this year, which is nice. A new one that came out. So, Keem, any questions? This is now my turn to talk. You spent the entire topic talking.
I'm just listening.
Okay, if you have anything to say or any questions, please jump in. So a new one that came out early this year, maybe the end of last year. I don't remember exactly what the timeline was on, but it's been out for a little while, but it's pretty new. Is from WeVibe, which you guys have heard me talk about WeVibe. They are probably my favorite company. They're fantastic. And so this one I heard a lot of mixed reviews on it because what WeVibe has done previously has been to have their vibration patterns is that they have several steady state vibration, like just steady vibrations, and then several patterns. And this new one that I'm talking about is called the Wish. And it looks like a medium-sized rock, except it's squishy. And it's blue. And it's beautiful. It's incredible. But it's like a medium, like it fits in it's like it fits in your hand, right? Like if you are holding it in your hand, like it is wider than your palm, or about as wide as your palm, probably. It's about as wide as my palm. I have medium-sized hands. But one thing that they did, that WeVibe did with this, and I was really, really hesitant about it until I finally got my hands on one at my local store, and decided that, yes, this would be just fine, is instead of having a steady state pattern, they've got weird, like, there's two motors in it, and so it, like, I don't know, the way that the motors work together, it doesn't feel like a steady vibration. It's got more variation than that. So it doesn't actually have any settings that are just one steady vibration, which a lot of people have been really distracted by. A lot of the reviewers that I've talked about have been really distracted by it, but it's so pretty, and it's so, like, I love that company so much. And the shape of that is so intriguing to me that I had to look it up. It's got like a little, almost like a bit of a pointed end on one side, so you can get a little bit more pinpoint, or it's got the big flat, like broad curve, so that you can just do a whole, like, there's lots of different ways that you could put that on your body to do stuff. But I've got my hands on it and got to try out the vibration on my hand, and I think that it will be just fine. Thank you anyway. But that is really cool. And it's a shape that you don't see that often, especially in that size and in that material and in that color. It's just a beautiful, like, turquoise blue. It's so pretty, Keem. It's so pretty.
Sounds like it.
I love it. It's so pretty, and it's so vibrate-y, and it's squishy and soft and amazing, and it's amazing. Yeah, but the last one, oh boy, this last one that I'm so excited about. I'm going to have to figure out how to pick it up. It's brilliant. So Fun Factory, which is a German company. I have one of their toys. They make very high quality toys, out of silicone. They mostly do vibrators. They do some dildos without vibration, but most of what they do is, vibrators. But a couple of years ago, they broke out a new line of toys that they called Stronic. Have you heard about these?
Really?
What?
You asked me, have I heard about this?
Have I talked to you about these?
No, that's a better question. No, you haven't.
Why don't you read about sex toys as much as I do, Keem?
You can't see me, but I'm giving you a look.
I can feel your look. It's okay. So the Stronic line of toys, it started off, they started off with, this is a German company, so they started off with Eins, and then they had Zwei, and then they had Drei, and then so Eins was a smooth toy, Zwei was ribbed, Drei had flared at the base so that it was anal safe, and then they had one that I don't remember what it's called, but it had it was like a rabbit style vibrator. It wasn't a rabbit, like it didn't have the rabbit ears, but it had the external, like, arm that was meant to hit the clit. And these have all gotten, like, the idea is really unique, but they've gotten really mixed reviews, because of the way the implementation was. But so the idea on these Stronic toys is not only do they have vibrating patterns, but also they have a motor, and I couldn't tell you for the life of me what this motor is, but they have a motor inside and weights on the inside of the toy that when you set that on, it thrusts back and forth, like, on its own. like actually thrusts in it, like back and forth on its own. Right? Like there's weights on the inside of it that like rock it back and forth.
Right.
Which is, no one else has done that. Right? To have a freestanding, like unattached, like there's like fucking machines, right? Where you can like strap a dildo in and like turn the motor on and it will fuck you. But that requires this whole rig. Whereas now to have this toy that will thrust on its own without being attached to anything. And from what I have heard, I've played with these in the store, but I have not gotten to use one properly on myself, unfortunately. But what I've heard is very, very mixed reviews about how these work. It's very variable with people's bodies. It depends very heavily on what the internal structure of your whatever hole you're using it in is. Like I said, the dry is anal safe. The eins and the zwei are not. But it depends very heavily whether or not it works for you. Depends very, very heavily on how your body is. They have a tendency to fall out if they're not braced properly. But at the same time, you can't hold them firmly. Otherwise, you lose the like self-thrusting motion. It's a whole. Apparently, they're very finicky, but they just released a new one in the Stronic line that I am incredibly excited about, and they call it the Stronic G. Which, guess what it does?
It's the G spot?
Yes, it sure does. It's got that. It's like a straight shaft, and then it's got that like pronounced curve up at the end with the flat surface. I'm sure that you've seen it, right? Like it's got a pronounced curve up at the end with a flat thing that's supposed to press into the G spot. And for most of the reviewers that I have heard, this if they like G spot stimulation, which not everybody does, right? Because everybody's body is different and everybody's body responds differently to different stimulation. And that's fine. Like, that's a normal thing. But all the reviewers that I have read reviews of this from who have liked G-spot stimulation have said that this solves all the problems from the Stronic line, right? Because the curve on it is pronounced enough that it gets behind the pubic bone and really just gets right there onto the G-spot. And then when it does the thrusting thing, it doesn't, because it's hooked behind the pubic bone, it doesn't fall out like the eins and the zwei had a tendency to do, depending on the anatomy of the person using it, right? But this doesn't do that. In addition to that, it is an incredibly awesome G-spotter, apparently. Like, if you like repetitive, like, motion, like forward and backward over the G-spot, apparently, like I do, apparently it is exactly what you need for that, and it's fantastic. And it's hands-free. Like, you can just put it there and then turn it on and then let it go. And I need one in my life. I need one. I'm super excited about it. I love these cool, like, innovative, fantastic ideas that people are coming up with. It's amazing. It's amazing, Keem. It's amazing.
I can tell.
Don't judge me.
Oh, I'm not judging you.
Are you sure?
Yeah, a little bit. But it's what I do.
I know. Oh, all right. But those are the three that I really, really wanted to talk about this year because, oh my God, they are so cool. They are so cool. I am so excited.
So go out and get them, folks. And so Santa won't be the only one coming to town.
Oh, shut up. That's terrible.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
It kind of is.
Yes, it is. In any case. But like I said, I have not tried any of those on myself in the way that they're designed to be used. Those are just things that I've been drooling over for the better part of this year. Except the Stronic G, which I only found out about like 2 weeks ago. And it is amazing, and I am in awe of it, and I want it.
All right. Now that you people can add those those products to your Christmas list. Though I don't think those are the toys that Santa Claus delivers.
More's the pity. I want some of those.
I don't think Schwartz Pete, is up there. I don't think it's ethical either. I don't think that counts as ethical.
Ooh, I saw a flow chart that is super relevant to this conversation. I will see if I can find it and put it in the show notes. But I found it on Facebook, and it said it was a simple consumer's guide to determining whether a toy is meant for boys or girls. And it said, it was like, is this toy for boys or girls? Is it designed to go in an orifice? If yes, this toy is not for children. If no, this toy is for boys or girls.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah. I think that's what it said. It said something like that. It was amazing. I was like, yeah, that is super relevant to my life. Or no, is this toy designed to be used on someone's genitalia? If yes, this toy is not for children.
Oh man, I missed a they told me joke somewhere in there.
Don't ruin the little drummer boy for me. I will never forgive you.
I'm here to ruin.
Never. I will never forgive
everyone.
you. I will never forgive you.
All right, hold on. Side note. So, can we talk about how the what was the ox and lamb kept time?
Yeah.
Them some musical ass animals.
Yes.
But you know what? We talk about the miracle of birth, but let's talk about those animals being able to pull on a damn song.
Yep.
Some shit. They talk about the baby Jesus and the wise men and all that shit, but nobody talks about the animals.
Says you.
Also, the people at the end have to be
There's whole
wonderful.
songs about the animals. Are you kidding?
The people, the owners of the inn have to be pissed off, like they're in their inn sleep. They got customers in there who have paid money, good money, and all they hear is a bunch of damn child outside beating on a drum and a bunch of animals mewing and being loud and shit. People are trying to sleep.
Yep.
Go to bed. Damn. I'm sorry. I'm going through some things right now. Anyway, that the end of the show?
I think so.
All right, guys. This seems like it will be our last show of 2017.
Yep, it totally will.
It has been a year. I won't say it's been a good year. Won't say it's been a bad year. But god damn it, it's been a year. We've had a lot of fun with you guys. I'd like to thank all our guests who have been on the show. Mm-hmm. Every single one of you have been great. You've given us a lot of stuff to talk about. You've talked about a whole bunch of just random awesome shit with us, and it has been great. Special thank you to all the musicians who've both come on our show and supply us with music on a weekly basis. You guys are incredible. Your music is incredible. It's too many of you to go by name, but you guys know I love you. Shout out to all our listeners who stuck with us through this year. Guys, thank you for your support. Thank you for listening. Honestly, we could not have done this without you. We wouldn't be doing this without you. If no one was listening, we wouldn't be talking.
Or we would be talking, but we wouldn't be recording it.
Right.
Because this reboot came out of us just talking to each other every day.
It really did. And thank you for sticking with us through the show, going away and then coming back and being rebooted, because It took a lot, guys.
Yeah.
As someone who has been there from the very beginning, this has been something. It's been an adventure, and we hope to continue this adventure into 2018 and beyond. Like,
Yes.
we're gonna rock this shit until the house fall down.
Yes. Basically.
So, thank you all.
Yes. And thank you, we gotta say special thanks to Chris, Mike, and Taylor, the Living Room Leftists, for for not issuing us a cease and desist letter when you found out that we were using your song. As to be fair, guys, I did check with one of the members of the band before I used their music. But amusingly, like, apparently he did not pass it on to the other members of the band. And so I saw a message on Facebook pretty shortly after the reboot where Taylor was like, hey, he had linked to Chris and Mike, and he's like, hey guys, does anybody know who these people are? Because they're using our music. Did anybody check with us? And we got that sorted out, and I was amused by that. But so thank you, guys, to the Living Room Leftists for letting us use so many of your songs. We still fall back on you if we can't line up a musician. And thank you for letting us use your song for our theme. It fits so perfectly with what we're trying to do and what we're trying to say here. So thank you, especially to the Living Room Leftists.
Yep. Thank you, guys. We'd like to wish you everyone a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, begrudgingly, Happy Kwanzaa. All the Festivus for the rest of us.
Yeah.
And everything in between. Have a happy new year. And we will see you all in 2018.
Have a good one.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So as always, this has been Keem and Esme signing off in 2017. And we are out.
But there are these things that matter, and they really fucking matter. There's like 4 things that matter, and they really fucking matter. I mean, objectively, I mean, you should care, especially you, if you thought about it for 5 fucking minutes.